yoga class. So I'm new to this as well, so bear with me. I'm also at home, so I might have the occasional dog or person walking through the house. But we're going to do yoga together this morning, and I'm so glad some of you can join me. We're going to actually start just seated, and I have a blanket. I suggest if you have a blanket, it can be really helpful. I'm on a hard floor, so it's really nice when we're doing kneeling stuff to have a blanket just to pad your knees a little more. If you're on the carpet, it's probably not such a big deal. You don't need any props, but props are great. So if you have them, grab them. You might want a block, you might want a strap, anything. I even suggest maybe having a chair nearby. Some of the balancing stuff, it might be nice to have that little extra support. So wherever you're at, find yourself in a nice, easy seat, comfortable cross-legged position. If you have a blanket, maybe you want to prop it up under your hips to give you a little more lift. And just take a second here to close your eyes and just settle into your body, noticing your breath, not trying to change it yet, just tuning in to your inner landscape. Maybe listening to everything that's happening in your house. Trying not to let it annoy you, but just noticing it. Maybe it's your kids, maybe it's your neighbors mowing the lawn. Just take a second to tune in. And then after the next couple rounds of breath, start to interact a little more deeply with your breath, lengthening your inhales, and then also lengthening your exhales. With so much in the world right now that's out of our control, the breath is a really powerful tool to help us regulate our mental and our physiological states. And just the simple act of deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing expanding through your rib cage, and intently focusing on long, slow exhales can go a long ways to put you in just a better frame of mind. So a few more rounds of breath here. Long, slow inhale, rising up through your spine, keeping that length with a long, slow exhale. One more time. And after your next exhale, gently open your eyes. And we're going to start just some gentle twisting and some gentle movement. So I'm going to bring my right hand out to the side. My left arm is going to reach up and over into a gentle side stretch. My inhales, I'm going to invite my ribs to expand. And with my exhales, I'm going to soften around that expansion. See if I can go a little deeper. One more. Back up to center, we're going to the other side. Inhale, lengthen, reach up. Exhale, go into the twist. Feel your breath expanding into your rib cage. Enjoy that stretch. With your exhale, release and enjoy that. One more. Exhale, and then back to center. We're going to do a couple of neck circles now. So just gentle rolling your head one way. Do it 2 times. And then we're going to reverse the direction. And after this time, my head comes back to neutral. I'm going to bring my left ear to my left shoulder. And with my right arm, I'm going to reach down like I'm pressing into a beach ball. So I'm actually kind of flexing my wrist back. And with my left hand, I can gently put a little pressure here if it feels good. But if it doesn't, then you can also just feel this nice stretch going all the way down the side of your neck, into your arm, into your fingers. Keep breathing. Release. We're going to go to the other side. Right ear, right shoulder. Left arm pushes down like I'm pressing into a beach ball. My wrist flexes back. Apply gentle pressure if it feels good. And release. From here, we're going to take it into a little bit of forward and back. So as I come forward, my arms are going to sweep in front, gentle forward bend. I'm going to bring it back, arms behind, lift my chest, small back bend. I'm just going to go back and forth a few times here. Once more. So now I'm going to put that all together, kind of around the world stretch here with our seated position. I'm going to start coming forward. From here, I'm going to reach my left arm over. I'm in the side stretch. As I open up, I find myself in a little back bend. Right arm reaches over, and I begin where I started. Or I end where I started. We're going to reverse the direction. Left arm reaches over, right arm follows, opens up, lifting my chest before I come over to the side and end back to center. Slowly roll on up and find your way into and hands and knees position. From here, we're going to start some rounds of cat and cow. So as I inhale, I'm going to arch my back, lift my head. As I exhale, I'm going to push the ground away, rounding my spine, dropping my head. Just go back and forth with your own breath, working through your spine. If it feels good, you can start to bring a little more movement into your cat and cow. You can wiggle around. You can take it into more of a child's pose as you come down and coming up. Just explore how your body feels. I'm going to do a few more breaths here. And the next time you find yourself rounded in cat position, bring yourself to a neutral spine. So in a neutral spine, I'm not overly arched, I'm not overly rounded. It's long spine. I'm going to take my left foot and I'm going to press it back behind. Sorry, that's my right foot. So I'm putting my right foot back and I'm pressing my foot into the ground. I'm feeling all these muscles of my legs kind of hug to the bone here. My left arm is going to reach out in front. We're going to start with a little bit of shoulder mobility here. So I'm actually going to lift my arm up as high as it can go without my back starting to move. I'm going to keep that height as I start to turn my hand and total arm in, back, and around. And I'm going to reverse this action. I start by pulling my arm straight, lifting it up, keeping that height. Can I turn my arm, thinking about my upper arm bone rotating in my shoulder socket? And down one more time, lifting up, rotating in as I come back, and then reversing, lifting up, rotating around. I'm going to keep my hand reaching out as I lift my back foot up into bird dog. So in bird dog, I want to really make sure that my hips stay level and that my back stays neutral. I don't want to be here. I want to have a nice straight line, like I'm pressing into a wall behind me. Keeping this nice connection and stability in my torso and core, I'm going to bring my arm and knee towards each other. Notice I'm not turning this into a cat and cow. This is not spinal movement. It's just arm and leg moving independently of my torso. One more. So I'm going to hold out, reach away. I'm going to bring my arm to the ground, let my foot come down, and this back foot is going to kick out, and I'm going to find myself in sort of a modified side plank. I'm actually going to turn around so that you guys can see me. So in this one, my right leg is extended out, my left knee is bent underneath me, and I'm reaching up towards the ceiling. My arm is going to come down, my thumb is going to turn up towards the ceiling. So it's like I'm trying to shake someone's hand that's kind of off in front of me. And as I reach over, I'm pressing through this pinky side of my extended foot and getting just a wonderful side stretch. Here, find that deep breathing. Expands into your ribs. And there's exhales that allow you to go a little deeper. Then inhale, come up to a sort of half kneeling, leg extended position. This is called gate pose in yoga. I'm going to take a second to inhale and find this length through my spine. And I'm going to lean over my extended leg. Again, I want that thumb to be pointed up towards the ceiling so that I get a better stretch down the side of my body. If this bothers your foot to have it flat, you can also have it elevated like so. One more breath here. And then come back up. We're coming back to that sort of modified side plank. You can stay here and just enjoy the stretch, or lift this extended foot up in the air. It's like I'm pressing into a wall, finding length more than height. This might be enough for you. If you want to add on, you can bend this top knee, reach back, grab your foot, turn it into a little back bend. Keep pressing the ground away with your supporting arm, and make sure you can breathe in these positions. One more breath here. Gently let go, come back, and then bring it down. We're going to do the whole thing on the other side. So, starting with bird dog. This time, my left foot's going back. I'm taking a second to really press my toes into the ground, feeling that activation of my muscles all the way up the backside of my body. Right arm reaches up. We're starting with the shoulder mobility. Remember, we want this action to come from the top of our arm bone, rotating around in our shoulder. And lifting up, rotating in, back, and around. Then reversing this movement, reaching back as I go up, out, and around. One more time, lifting up, rotating in, back, and around. One more time, reverse, reaching away, coming around. Keep your hand out. We're going to come into our bird dog, where we lift that back leg, reaching forward with the opposite arm. Being aware of what's happening in our hips and core. We don't want our belly sagging. We don't want our hips tilting. We want to feel this connection that's drawing in and meeting of front to back. Pressing the ground away. Keeping this nice stable platform, we're going to start to move our arm and leg. Bringing it in, reaching it out. One more time. This time, keep it extended. See if you can lengthen just a little bit more, like my arm and leg are being stretched in opposite directions. And then bring your hand down, bring your foot down, back leg does this little 90-degree turn as we come into the modified side plank on the second side. Take a second to set yourself up, make sure everything's in line. And then lifting this arm up, and again, starting with this, bringing my arm down. My thumb is up like I'm going to shake someone's hand. That's a little bit beyond me and I can't quite reach them. I'm still trying to reach their hand. I'm going to press in to the outside edge of my foot and feel this beautiful stretch from pinky toe to pinky finger. One more breath here. And then come on up, going into gate pose on the other side. So remember, if this position doesn't work for your body, you can always flip your toes up. But start by inhaling, finding that length through your spine, rising out of your pelvis, leaning over the extended leg. Finding that expansive breath that it takes your ribs out, feeling them stretch in every direction. Allow your exhales to be a soft release, a gathering in. One more breath here. Bringing it back up, going back down into our modified side plank. Again, you can stay here. If you did so on the other side, lift this extended leg. Find your balance here. Sometimes that's the practice in and of itself, is just working that stability. If you have that stability and you want to add on, you bend this top leg, reach back, grab it with your hand. From here, you can kick your foot into your hand, come into just a baby back bend. One more breath. And reach it back out, coming down, finding your way to all four. Tuck your toes under, press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Your first downward dog of the day, take some time to just feel through it. Pedal your feet, wiggle your hips. Just notice how this position lands in your body today. Just a few more breaths here. And we're going to walk our feet to our hands. And come all the way up. Arms reach overhead. Hands to heart center, Tadasana. So moving on, you can keep this blanket here if you like, and we're going to do another kneeling position in this next sequence, so I'm going to keep it here for a little bit longer. So come to the front side of your mat, the top side of your mat. We're going to inhale as we reach up, exhale as we send our hips back, standing forward bend. Inhale, lengthen, come up to maybe your hands are on your thighs, maybe they're on your shins, maybe they're still on the floor. Find a spot where you can lengthen out of your spine. And exhale, go a little deeper into your standing forward bend. Inhale your right foot back. Take a second here to press your feet into the ground, gathering all the energy from your feet into your core. Head shining forward. Right knee comes down to the ground. Reach up, low lunge. Take a second here again, inhale, reach, lengthen. As you exhale, we're going to come into a twist where we're twisting towards this bent leg. One breath here, inhale, back to center, and up. Bring your arms out to the side. So I'm putting, I have two plates in my hands and I'm trying to offer people treats on both sides. So I really want to open up to my chest. This might be enough for you. If you have the room, you can bring your hands together behind your back. Pull down, open through your chest. If if in this position you find your shoulders are hunched forward or you can't breathe, then just stay here and really work on opening and finding that comfort of breath and stretch at the same time. And come on down, hands to the floor, step back, plank position. Find a strong plank. And again, modify this to your needs. Maybe you're on your knees, maybe you're on your forearms. Find the plank that works for you. Wherever you're at, squeeze your legs together. Squeeze through your butt muscles, lengthen through your spine, and then lower down through a push-up or not. Tops of your feet to the ground. You roll up into Cobra pose. We're going to do about 3 rounds of Cobra. Coming down. One more time. This time as we come down, we're going to bend our knees, push our hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Press the ground away. Allow your knees to soften a little bit so you can really get that press away through your arms and that length through your spine. Keep that as you start to straighten your legs. If you notice that as you start to straighten your legs, you lose your spine, then just keep them bent. It's not a big deal. Your next inhale, we're going to step our right foot forward. Take a second here, press the ground away, long spine. Left knee comes down, lifting up, low lunge. Big inhale as we reach. Exhale, turning towards that bent knee. Lifting up, reach. And again, we're going to start with this opening up through our chest before we clasp our hands. Once we find that clasp, reach your arms away, open through your chest. Find a steady breath. If you cannot breathe in this position, it's your body's way of telling you to just back off a little. Exhale, bring your hands to the ground, step forward, standing forward bend. Press through your feet all the way up to stand, Tadasana. One more time, inhale, exhale, send your hips back, Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhale, halfway reach, extend. Exhale, hands to the ground, right foot steps back again. Drop your right knee to the ground, lifting up, low lunge. Bring your hands to your hips and start to press your feet into the ground. So my front foot, I'm feeling my whole foot press. My back foot, I'm feeling like the tops of my toes pressing into the ground. And I'm feeling my legs start to kind of gather towards each other. From this strong engagement, I'm going to lift straight up. I'm going to control as I come down, nice and slow. How slow can you go? We're going to do this a couple more times. Start from a place of engagement. Gathering in, exhale as I come up. Nice and slow, 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 all the way down. That's the hard part. One more time. Reaching up. This time bend this front knee. And we're in a high lunge. Take a second here to reach out of your pelvis, lengthen through your spine, and start to hinge forward. So I'm thinking about drawing this left hip back as my torso comes forward. I'm putting more and more weight over this front leg. One more breath here. Then I'm going to bring my hands down to the inside of my feet. I'm going to walk this foot out to the side a little bit. So from here, you have some options. First, bring your right knee down to the ground. This might be a lot of a stretch right here. If it's even too much here, you can even be right here. If you want to add on, you can bring your elbows down to the ground, finding yourself in lizard pose. Find this deep hip opening. You can even wiggle around a little bit. And walk your hands back up. Push into this foot, step back, downward facing dog. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, starting with the low lunge. The right foot steps forward, left leg down, reaching up. And we want to start from that place of engagement. So I'm already pressing my front foot into the ground. I'm activating through my back foot. I'm drawing my legs together, even though they're not moving anywhere. And exhale as I come up. And slow, 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 slow as you can go, all the way back down. 2 more times. Lifting. Slow, 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 slow. Good. 1 more time. And this time we're coming in to a high lunge, so just the front knee bends, pushing still through that back foot as we reach up. Find your length so that when you start to hinge forward, you already have a nice long spine. My right hip is pulling back as my torso comes forward. Reaching away, really pressing through my feet. This can be a really intense position, so find the places where you can relax. My lower body has to work very hard, but I can still find softness in my breath. A soft gaze. Release your hands down to the inside of your feet. Move that foot out to the side a little bit. Give yourself a little more space. Back knee comes down. Choose your own adventure of where you want to go with lizard pose. You can be here, here, all the way down here. Take a few breaths, working into your hips. Saying hello to anything that might be going on right now. One more breath. Go ahead and lift yourself back up. Step back, plank position. Slow lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Tops of feet to the mat. We're going to bring our hands to the front onto our forearms. We're going to lift up into Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, we want our feet pretty close together, toes reaching back. We want to lengthen through our spine. As we get up into here, you want to think about pulling your upper back through your arms, really targeting this part of your back. In our Sphinx pose, we're going to take a little turn side to side. So I'm going to start looking over my right side, looking down at my feet. Coming over to the other side. Now I'm allowing myself this little side bend here. Because I'm really looking at this as kind of a nice neck stretch. One more time. And then keep your arms in this position. Lower your head down. Scooch them back a little bit. We're going to go into what I call a bottoms up plank. And so I just like to start with my hands really close in, elbows by my side. And as I started, I imagine there's a little ice cube under my belly that I want to get away from. Right under my belly button. And I'm not sucking my belly in, but I'm drawing in front to back. Pressing into my arms as I draw up. My tailbone is lengthening. My spine is as well. So here I am on my knees. This might be enough. If you want a little more core challenge, tuck your toes under. Full plank. Keep breathing. Make sure you're still pressing the ground away with your forearms. Drop to your knees. take a quick child's pose. When you're ready, come on back up. We're going to press back into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and back, one-legged dog. Bring that knee forward, drop it down to the ground. So we're going to work a little bit of core action like we just went over. That idea of drawing in with our belly while we push away with our upper body, and how that can really make for a strong core action. So I'm going to press the ground away with my hands as I draw this knee up and lower, press, draw it up. One more time, press, draw it up, hold, push back, one-legged dog. Other side. Now if that doesn't work with your body, then go ahead and just skip that part. It can be pretty intense. So, left leg reaches up. Shift forward into plank. Drop that knee down. Again, we're connecting our upper body with our core, so we want to really press the ground away as we draw that knee up. And lower. Press and lift. Sorry about that. These are the distractions we get sometimes when we're doing stuff live. One more time, press and lift. Push it back, one-legged dog. Take a couple of breaths here in downward facing dog. And then walk your hands to your feet, standing forward bend. Press the ground away as you come up, reaching up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath. Moving on, I'm actually going to move my blanket out of the way for this next part, so we're going to do a standing sequence. I'm going to come to the front of my mat, then I'm going to bring my feet together. Reaching up, I'm sitting back into chair pose. So right away I want to find this kind of drawing in so that I can have a nice long spine. So I reach my arms overhead. If you notice that as you reach your arms overhead, you start to arch, or you're rounded, then just keep your arms a little more kind of coming straight out. One more breath, reach, sending your hips back. Then bring your hands together into a prayer position. Left elbow is going to come over to the outside edge of your right knee. Take a second to inhale, lengthen through your spine, exhale, twisted chair. Keep drawing this left side back. It's going to kind of want to twist here, but we want to keep our hips level. One more breath here. And inhale, reach it up and away. Exhale, bring it on down, standing forward bend. Step your left foot back and come down to kneeling. So I lied, there is a couple more kneeling spots, but depending on where you want to go with it, it won't be for very long. So we're going to start reaching up, palms together, left elbow, right knee. We're now in kneeling lunge. I'm going to switch my position so you can see me better. So your option is you can stay here. You could do a lot of this next little bit just on your knees. If you're feeling like you want to add on, tuck these back toes under, lift up, twisted lunge. With your inhales, find that length to your spine. Your exhales, find a place where you can relax a little into this. One more breath here. With your next inhale, rise all the way up. We're going to stay twisted. So if you're still on your knees, it would look like this. So we're still twisting towards this bent knee, but now we're reaching away. Are you noticing what's happening in your pelvis? Is it doing anything wonky? Try to keep it squared to the front. and reach it up. Warrior two. Sorry for just a second. These are the things you have when you do live, but my battery on my computer is saying that it's about to die. So, give me just 1 second. All right, we're back on. Sorry about that. So we were at warrior two with right leg to the front. I'm going to switch positions. Since you guys had a little extra time, you've probably already settled into your warrior. So what we're going to do from here is take our left arm, reach it to the front like we're pulling back a bow and arrow. We're pulling back that string. And then we let it go. And do this a couple more times where we reach around. I'm reaching past my other arm, grabbing that string, drawing it back, letting it go. One more time, reaching around, drawing it back, letting it go. I still have this very expanded position. From here, left hand comes down. Reverse your warrior. As you reverse your warrior, try to keep a nice bend in this front knee. One more breath. Back to warrior two. From here, we're going to hinge over this front leg. Elbow can go to knee. It can go to a block. You can go to the ground. Find yourself in side angle. So maybe right here is all you want to do is side angle. If you want to get a better stretch through your upper body, again, bring that hand down with your thumb up. You're trying to shake someone's hand that's in front of you. Reach away. At the same time, press through the outside edge of your back foot. Feeling that wonderful side body stretch. From here, you can start to even lift your chest. Coming all the way up, straightening this front leg. I'm going to take this into triangle pose. So I'm going to reach over this front leg. And again, as you can see, if you don't have a block, your hand can go to your shin. You could even be here on your thigh. You could have a chair. Go to wherever serves you. Then take a second here, drawing in, reaching up. Pressing equally through both legs to still find length in our spine. One more breath. And lifting all the way back up. I'm going to turn both my feet together. I'm going to come in just a little bit. We're going to go into a wide-legged forward bend. So you kind of get to choose how close together your feet are or how wide. So have your feet mostly pointed forward as you push back through your hips. So I'm actually going to allow my knees to be soft so that my butt can go back as I come into this wide-legged forward bend. I'll face the front so you can see here. But allowing me to really get back into my hips just opens up all that space so that you can go a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen out of your spine. And again, here might be a really good spot to have a chair, a book, a block, whatever. So I'm going to lengthen out through my spine, pressing the ground away with my left hand as my right arm reaches up. Bringing that down, switching to the other side. So starting with this pushing away before I twist open. When you engage first, then you find a lot more space that you can move into. Bringing it on down. From here, I'm going to bend into my left leg. Reaching my arms up. So I'm in this sort of a side lunge. And this can be really intense. So again, here's a great spot to have that chair or something to give you a little extra support. Just gonna hold, hold, hold. Good. See if you can sneak over to the other side. Hold, hold, hold. Keep pushing your butt back. Keep breathing. And press your legs straight. Turn yourself back into warrior two. One breath here. Turn back into high lunge. Then hinge over this front leg. Hands can be out to the front. They can be at heart center. They can be like a goalpost. We're going to start to push all our weight over this front leg. And I'm thinking bird dog with my upper body, that move we did at the very beginning. Nice long spine as I lift this back leg. Coming into warrior three. So your warrior three could be right here, just a little lift. Or you can really start on lifting this back leg, straightening the front leg. Make sure you can breathe. One more breath. All the way to standing release. So that was just one side. We're going to do the whole thing on the other side. Starting with the twisted chair. So sitting back into our chair pose. Finding length. Bringing our hands together, heart center. Right elbow, left knee. Inhale, finding that expansion through our spine. Sending our hips back. One more breath. Reaching up chair. Coming down, forward bend. Stepping our right foot back. Coming down into a lunge. Lifting up. We're going into the twisted lunge part. So again, hands to heart center, right elbow, left knee. Start from that place of engagement, just like we practiced with the lunges earlier. I'm already drawing in so that this lift up just feels that much easier. Still finding a deep, steady breath here. Finding a soft gaze, even within a very kind of hard position. Then lift up, twisted high lunge. One more breath, open it up, warrior two. I'll switch around so I'm facing you guys. So now we're at warrior two on the other side. Take a second to make sure your feet are in line, everything's feeling good. We're going to take it into our archer arms. Reaching this right arm around. Pulling back that bow, letting it go. Reaching around, pulling back that bow, letting it go. One more time. Reach, pull, release. So I'm already very extended here. Perfect place to go into a reverse warrior. Keep a nice bend in that front knee. One more breath. So then exhale, come back to warrior two. Hinge over this front leg. Find your side angle. Take a second here to make sure you're pressing both your feet into the ground before you bring this arm. Sweep it around, thumbs up, like I'm trying to shake someone's hand that's just out of reach. Still trying to reach. Pressing through that back foot. Twisting open my chest. And still breathing. Come all the way back up, warrior two. Straighten this front leg. We're going into triangle. Pushing this hip back as I come forward. Going to your triangle. That can be here, here. You might have a block. It might be on the ground. Once you get this kind of strong position here, then we open up. One more breath. Press through both feet, come all the way up. Turn your feet together. Bring them in just a little if it feels good. One more time with this wide-legged forward bend. This time we're going to start with our hands interlaced. Now again, if hands interlaced feels uncomfortable, then this can just be a regular standing forward bend. Otherwise, find this open chest position as you send your hips back. Choose your own adventure of where you want to go with this. One more breath. Come all the way up to standing. Back to warrior two. Pivot high lunge. Hinge over this front hip. Start to put more weight into this foot as I come up onto my toes. Find the arm position that works for you as we come into warrior three. Find a place where you can have that balance and then work on deepening it. One more breath, and then come all the way up to standing. Okay, go ahead and come to front of your mat. Your feet be wide. We're going to sit our hips down and back. Low squat. Take a second here, just to kind of wiggle around in there. In your squat, it might look different than mine. Maybe you're up here. Just find where you can kind of get into your hips a little more. You should be feeling a little more loosey-goosey now that we went through all those poses. Then sit yourself down. We're going to go into boat pose. So hands are going to go behind your legs. And just take a second here to lengthen out through your spine. And then you can lean back a little. As you lean back, make sure you can find this engagement of meeting front to back. Just like we worked on in bird dog, like we worked on with the lifting with the plank. You want to find that nice steadiness. You can stay here. Arms can be out in front. If you want to add on even more, you start to lift your feet. Or even more, you straighten your legs. Wherever you're at, find a steady breath and a calm gaze. One more breath here. Bring your feet down, hands go behind, with fingers pointed towards your bottom. Lift up, tabletop. One more breath here. We're going to go back and forth one more time with both of those, starting with your boat pose. So find your boat pose, wherever that may be. Your boat pose may even be with your hands behind, right? Just make sure you don't have any pain in your low back when you do this. So find your boat. One more breath. Feet down, hands behind. Lifting up one more time, tabletop. Bring it on down. And then make your way all the way to your belly. We're going to work on some variations of locust pose, and then maybe going into a bow pose. We're going to start with our palms down, or our palms up, tops of our hands down, forehead on the ground, feet towards each other. Take a big inhale and find that feeling of drawing in, kind of like the little ice cube under your belly button feeling. There's a little bit of an engagement of your tailbone drawing long, your core drawing in as you lift up. See if you can lift a little higher. Squeezing through your butt, lifting through your upper back. Come on down. This time bring your hands out like a goalpost. And do the same thing. Lifting up, locust pose. You can stay here, or you can add on a little more extra upper body challenge by reaching out, pulling in. So it's kind of like I'm swimming. still lifted through my lower and my upper body. One more time. Bring it on down. Let it all go. So this last time, you can do either another variation of locust pose, or you can join me in doing Dhanurasana or bow pose. So I'm going to start by bringing my knees in, or bringing my feet in, bending my knees, reaching back, grabbing the tops of my feet. I'm going to inhale, inflating like a balloon, and as I exhale, pressing feet into hands, hands into feet as I come up. Reaching my chest forward like we did in Sphinx pose, so that this doesn't just crunch into my low back. One more breath here. And release it down. Hands down to the mat, windshield wiper your legs. And then slowly roll yourself up. We're going to come into a wide-legged position. So again, this is a great time to maybe use a blanket. If you notice that when you do seated forward bends that you have a lot of kind of rounding in your spine, then do yourself and your back a favor and just come up onto a blanket to give you a little more length to your spine. So we're going to start with finding this length. I'm going to bring my left hand out. My palm is up. Right arm reaches up and over to a side stretch. So your side stretch, this could be where you're at. You could be way down here. Just find a place, again, where you can breathe within the position. Allow your breath to be your guide. It will tell you every time. One more. Release, we're going to the other side. So right arm is reaching out, palm up. Left arm reaching up as it comes across. And coming back up. This time I'm going to twist towards my left leg. So that last time we did a side stretch, I'm going to twist a little bit so I'm kind of perpendicular here with my leg coming out in front. Inhale, getting long. Exhale, start to come forward. Pressing that thigh into the ground, drawing that left hip back. This might be a great place if you have a strap, just to give you a little more kind of room to work with. You can even use a towel. You got to improvise sometimes. One more, and over to the other side. Starting with that getting long, twisting towards my right leg, bending forward. Finding length, finding softness. One more, coming back up to the center. Last time is out to the middle. So we're going to start again, finding length. Feeling myself rise out of my pelvis as I come forward. Only go as far as you can in maintaining a calm breath, a sense of stretch that's not so intense that you feel like everything is just clenching up around you. This is going to look different for everybody. So maybe some of you are way out here, maybe some of you are here. Work with where you're at. The best tool that yoga can give you is self-awareness and self-knowing. And release, bring that in, give your legs a little shake, give your shoulders a little shimmy. That one always just feels good to shake it off. And then come on down to your back. Give yourself a little hug here. You can roll to the side. And bring your feet down. You're going to shift your hips over to the right a little bit. Arms out like goalposts as your knees drop over towards your left side. Hand can come on top of your knees. Look away. One more breath here. As you exhale, bring your knees back up to center. Other side. Start with just a little shift over to the left as your knees drop over towards the right. Right hand can come on top. Look over your left arm. Bring it back up to center. Shift yourself so you're kind of back in the middle of your mat again. Bring your knees wide. Grab your ankles, coming into happy baby. So you can grab your shins, your ankles, tops of your feet, wherever feels comfortable, and then kind of draw your knees down and wide. I like to rock my baby here, shifting side to side. I'll straighten one leg and then the other. One more breath. Bring your knees in. Give yourself a little hug. Then drop one leg. And then the other. Bring your hands out a little bit wide, palms up. Allow yourself to start to settle in to Shavasana. So maybe you want to get a blanket put over you. Something just to help you feel comfortable and allow you this deep restorative pose. More than ever, we need to access these points of restoration, of calm. These places that are always there within us, that we always have access to when we allow ourselves the time to find it. So as you relax deeply into your Shavasana, dropping any harsh thoughts, any judgments, any worries, knowing that your body is supported. Allow yourself as long as you need in Shavasana. That's the lovely thing about doing Shavasana at home is you can do it for as long as you want. You could even take a little nap now if you want. So thank you for joining me on this experiment of live yoga. Thank you for taking the time to move your body in nourishing ways, to sit and feel and explore. And I wish you all happiness and health, and I hope to see you all back in person soon. Thank you. Namaste.